What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Sportorium podcast. Today, we're starting our series of going over all the divisions in every team and going over cuts, who they could trade for, restructures, and just stuff like that, just to preview their offseason, basically.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. So today, we're starting off with the NFC East. We are starting off with the NFC champion, Philadelphia Eagles.
Ooh.
So the only positive as non-Eagles fans, I would say, is they don't have a lot of money. Currently, they have negative $9 million in cap space. This is especially bad because there are not a lot of moves they could make, and they have many pending free agents. They're doing these numbers according to SpotRack. So, yeah, according to SpotRack, they have negative 9 currently.
Yeah, that's rough. But it's not really rough when you have everything that you need.
But here's the thing. They have many notable free agents.
Yeah, that's true.
So starting off the list, we got Javon Hargrave, who is an absolute stud at D-tackle this year. Brandon Graham, who's been good forever. Jason Kelsey, we know he's one of the best centers in the league. Fletcher Cox, their starting guard, Isaac Samalo. Andre Dillard, who is he's a backup tackle right now, but he's good enough to start on that offensive line. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, James Bradbury, Miles Sanders, TJ Edwards. There's a lot of guys that they're going to end up losing. And also Robert Quinn, which ended up actually not being a good trade for them. At first when that happened, because Robert Quinn had a ridiculous year last year. I think he had 17 and a half sacks or something with the Bears. So it felt like that was Jalen Hurts getting his last Infinity Stone. But it ended up not working out at all, surprisingly. So.
True. And how long is his contract for?
He's a free agent now. It was just a rental, and they're not going to re-sign him because he's not good.
Jeez.
Yeah. Right. So out of those guys, I heard that they want Chauncey Gardner-Johnson back and that he's, quote, not going anywhere. But according to SpotRack, his market value is $13 million. And if they decided to franchise tag him, that would be 14.4. So that's pretty expensive. And we'll get into some other alternatives, but there are some maybe a little bit older, maybe not as good, but much cheaper options.
Yeah, especially that you got to pay Hurts.
Yeah,
that's going to be rough.
That's going to be part of it is, I mean, they can't really, there's not that much money with his current contract to move if they get an extension, but I think that this is the offseason where you do get an extension.
I think you have to.
Yeah, especially Burrow needs a contract, Herbert needs a contract, Lamar needs a contract. I mean, Daniel Jones, we're getting into that, but he's going to maybe get the most out of them. Probably Burrow will, but
yeah,
I mean, you don't want to see the QB market reset and then have to one-up it because that's what's going to happen. You're just going to have to get on it initially, and that's what I think is whoever gets the deal done first out of those top guys that I just mentioned is probably the loser of that because –
everyone's just going to keep getting higher and higher, except for Daniel Jones. He's not going to be that much higher than other people.
Yeah.
But I saw $45 million for the guy.
Yeah, which
anyway.
It's okay. We'll get into it later.
Yeah, we will. All right. So Eagles.
So they can't restructure many contracts.
Yeah.
So they can't restructure A.J. Brown, top guys. Lane Johnson, they could restructure. That would clear about $8.6 million. And then Jake Elliott, they could restructure that, clear about 1.45. And then I saw on this website, it doesn't say you could restructure Slay, but I also saw that you can, and that would save approximately $12 million, which is absolutely huge if they're able to.
Wow.
So that would go from, if you just restructure Lane Johnson and Jake Elliott, you'd have about 1.5 million cap space. Then if you get to restructure Slay for that additional 12 mil, they'd have 13.5.
Yeah.
So I mean, the cap isn't real. They're going to figure out a way to get their guys back.
They always do.
So,
but even with that 13, how do you give Hurts the contract? They have to just let guys go. They got to.
Well, it's not going to. They're just going to have to. It's going to get weird because I mean that's not going to really reflect on this year's cap or next year's cap because it'll kick in because he only got the 4-year deal because he wasn't a first rounder. So his new deal would kick in 2025.
Yeah, true.
Either way. So, like I said, I would prefer for them to let Chauncey Gardner-Johnson walk for them just because Like there are cheaper options.
Yeah.
Um,
But he is great
Miles,
though.
he was very, very good, and especially that like scheme that he was in because he
Yeah.
was not just a deep safety, not just like a slot corner. He was just all over the place. He was very, very good.
Yeah.
Other guys like Miles Sanders going to be a free agent.
Ooh, okay.
That's tough because he was good,
But he's
and
nothing special.
that's the thing. Can
So
you upgrade in let's say the draft? Like he had a very good year, but what was O line compared to him? Like that O line is stacked. Was he just a product of that offensive line? And if you let's say you get a cheaper guy like Deontay Foreman, who it'd probably be like half of what Miles Sanders would get.
yeah,
Deontay Foreman's had some very good games, and he's looked very good at times. Could
true.
he put up the same production that Miles Sanders did?
See, I think Miles Sanders is very good. And I think he's a little underrated. It's just Hurts runs a lot. So he never really has a full opportunity to give the ball to Scott, Gainwell. I don't know. I think he's very good, but it could be the O line. O line
Yeah,
is definitely helping, but I think he's good.
the guys that you could like probably get for the same price would be Kareem Hunt, and I'm not sure if I would prefer one over
No,
the other.
Sanders is very good in that system.
Yeah. So I mean,
Um,
I don't hate re-signing him, and
yeah,
if it's only going to be 7 million, if you could get him for cheaper,
yeah, that's true.
I don't hate it.
Who knows how the market's going to be for running back? So
Yeah,
yeah,
that could be reset
yeah,
very soon. But yeah, I mean, Foreman only costing like 3.4 million, I think is great to have like him and Gainwell. I believe Boston Scott is a free agent as well.
let him go.
So yeah.
All right.
Other guys, like Isaac Samalu, that's the offensive guard. He
Yep.
started, I'm pretty sure, every single game at right guard for them, and he's a guy that I don't think you could keep him. He's going to cost around $12 million, and we've seen they could just develop a lineman out of nothing.
Yeah, it's true.
So I
He's
mean,
29 years old.
he was probably the weak link of their offensive line, but I mean, you don't really need a guy like that, especially if you don't have a lot of money to spend. Regardless, you could probably develop another guard. There's probably someone on the roster who is going to be a starter there at one point anyway. So another guy, Jason Kelsey. I mean, he could retire. We don't know.
I think he's coming back. I think I saw it on their podcast, the Kelsey podcast, that he's not retiring.
Yeah, but
So,
it's also they just drafted Cam Jurgens to pretty much replace Jason Kelsey.
but Jason Kelsey's very hard to replace.
It's true.
So,
That's another tough one. Like obviously you'd want him back.
and how much would he make too?
He would be probably about 10 million, maybe more. Centers are generally the
11.9 right now. So
yeah. So
I feel
maybe
like
even
you'd get
up there.
about the same thing.
Yeah, he'd probably get 10 to 12 around that. But I mean that's if he retires. If he doesn't, who knows? He wants to go to Kansas City, team up with his brother.
I would love that. But
Yeah. They got Creed though, the Chiefs.
yeah, that is true.
Another guy, Fletcher Cox, I'd say he's the guy that you also let walk. He's getting older.
He's 32. Yeah, you have
He's been on the trade block for the past couple of years too.
really.
I remember last trade deadline, I thought the Bills were going to get him, and there were a bunch of. I think he actually signed a 1-year extension because he was like there were a bunch of trade talks around him. I know that,
Yeah.
but
All right.
he's another guy that I mean you'd clearly like him back. Don't think you're going to have enough money. Same goes for James Bradbury. That one, I mean, he's going to command a lot of money, but
Yeah.
we saw in the Super Bowl, he's good. I'm not going to say he's bad, but in that system, when your defensive line is putting up just like the pressure,
That's
anybody's going to look good. Debo said it. He was a little salty.
true. A
Said
little bit.
a little bit, but I mean, he does have a point though.
Yeah, I agree. When they're down the quarterback's throat, he has to get rid of it quick, and it makes everyone look great.
Exactly. So,
So
15.4 million for that.
yeah, no.
I'll let him go.
Yeah.
Last guy that I think they're going to have to let walk is TJ Edwards. He was very good the whole year, but then was like bad in the Super Bowl for some reason. But
TJ Edwards,
linebacker.
a linebacker. Yeah.
He was good the whole year. He was like probably a top 10 linebacker, maybe even better.
And he's young. He's 26.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What are their other linebackers?
Nakobe Dean probably taking a spot.
He's small though.
He is small.
That's what they
He's
said
definitely
all
small.
last year in the draft. And I
That's
didn't
why I
give a
fell to the
crap. I
third
wanted
round.
him. Yeah.
He is good though. He definitely is good. So if you think that Nakobe Dean is that guy, you can match TJ Edwards' production.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Even come close to it, and then you can give the contracts to everyone else.
Yeah.
You know? So I agree.
Yeah.
But they really don't have a lot to worry about.
Yeah, they still have a lot of talent, regardless
Yeah.
of who walks. Yeah. I think
One
that
thing
they
next
could
year though, AJ Brown, I know he's making what, 8 million this year?
yeah, next year that big contract's kicking in.
$27 million. He's like the top right
That's
now
some big
before
cap
Hurts and
hits.
everything. That's bad. They got to do something with that.
Yeah, they'll end up restructuring, doing some
Yeah,
stuff.
have to.
Two guys I want to highlight that I think they definitely should resign. Don't know if it's going to be a possibility. Andre Dillard, I think, is going to be somewhat cheap. He's kind of like the sixth lineman right now. He's kind of like their swing tackle. He's a good developmental. He pretty much is already good. But Lane Johnson's getting old. And he shouldn't cost you too much, probably like 6 or 7 million. And then Javon Hargrave, I think they would definitely like to have him back over guys like Fletcher Cox or Brandon Graham or whatever. And I think he's like 29 right now.
Yeah,
But
not too sure.
he was a
but
stud. He was a
I
stud.
do know Lane is 33. He's up there in age too.
Yeah, and he's starting to deal with some injuries now. And
yeah, but he did have a crazy year just now. So
he did playing through
yeah,
that, and he's already under contract through 2026 anyway. But
that is true.
who knows? Some other guys they could target in free agency.
What
Jimmy
do they really
Ward.
need?
Well, if they lose, this is my perfect CJ Gardner Johnson replacement is Jimmy Ward. He's another guy that kind of has the same, like, he could be a safety, he could be a slot corner, but he's going to cost pretty much half the price of CJ Gardner Johnson. So
yeah, safeties. How are they?
So Kayvon Wallace, he's solid. They could definitely upgrade at safety. I mean, you could target a guy like Jordan Poyer.
True, but who was probably going to want a lot
on the Eagles.
He was on the Eagles?
That's where he started his career, on the Eagles.
I had no idea. I thought he was a bum Bill forever.
No, he was on the Eagles for a little bit, and then on the Browns, and then went to the Bills.
Wow, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, because he just wasn't really that good until he went to the Bills.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. I also have like Reed Blankenship, Marquise Blair. They definitely need a safety.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Jimmy Ward could be that guy that CJ Gardner Johnson was. You could still look for a Poyer. Poyer's probably going to be too expensive for them. He's going to command about 10 to 12, but he's a guy, he was banged up all year. He's getting older. Tough.
Yeah, but if he's going to get 10 to 12, what is Gardner Johnson going to get?
13, 14. So you wouldn't be saving that much, but they're just like, they're completely different players though.
I know, but
Jordan Poyer's like just a deep safety.
Yeah.
And like he's good in the box too, but that's just not his game. He's not going to like be a slot corner for
you.
He's
getting old too, though. What is he, 32 or something?
Something like that.
Yeah.
He's getting up there in dog years. Jimmy Ward is old too, but the fact that he is going to be the cheapest by a pretty substantial amount, when you're already that like tight up against the cap, you're going to have to make sacrifices.
True.
Jimmy Ward's a baller though. He's a good player.
He is. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And then so you got linebackers we spoke about. Edwards out. Nakobe Dean potentially taking over that. D-line, what's going on there? Nothing much, right?
You still got Hassan Reddick. Jordan Davis obviously looks like a young star in the making. Derek Barnett, you still got Josh Sweat. They do have a lot of talent. I think that they could definitely benefit from another D tackle, maybe more of like a smaller body that's not whatever Jordan Davis is, like 18 feet tall, 500 pounds.
True.
But like, they definitely still have a lot of talent and younger guys, and they just seem to just develop these guys just like a factory. It's insane.
The O-line, D-line is good. Tight end, good. Receivers, you got AJ Brown,
Devontae Smith. You could definitely get a 3.
Yeah, because Quez is not the guy.
And Quez might be a free agent. I'm pretty sure Zach Pascal is.
1 more year.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, Quez Watkins is like a nice speed guy, but he's not a great number 3 by
No.
any means.
But that could be like a cheap like Corey Davis option or something,
Yeah, yeah.
something small
You
like
definitely
that.
don't need to
Sure him.
go like
No.
get a Jamison Crowder, honestly, like a
Yeah,
nice
something like that.
a good slot guy.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, don't need to
And,
spend big there.
and then running back, you got to worry about Sanders if he's staying or leaving, and then quarterback. I mean,
Yeah,
so it's really D line, a guy on D line, a safety, and
I think they could definitely get another corner though, especially if Bradbury leaves. So
yeah, I know that's true.
they have like Avonte Maddox, but a guy like Pat Pete, like a nice veteran, he'd probably cost about 6.4 million. Cam Sutton,
True.
a little bit younger, still pretty good. He would cost a little bit more, like 7.6.
True.
So those are options.
But still with barely any cap space, so it
Mhm.
should be fun for them.
They
But
definitely have to do some juggling.
yeah, hopefully they don't do any juggling and they just crumble.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I'm not an NFL GM, so I don't have to worry about how they're going to make this all work. But
True.
I'm assuming that they will get things done.
Yeah, I agree. I just hope they don't get it done enough to get to the Super Bowl again. So anyway,
Who knows? They
cheers.
still
With
got
my
they still
pink
got
cup.
some. Yeah, that's what are we doing here, man?
I mean it's Tito's and Sprite, so at least it's
Makes
a
it a it looks
manly
on the,
drink.
yeah, it's pretty manly, but then
Yeah,
it kind of just loses everything with the metallic straw and the pink thing, the pink cup.
it's sparkly as well, and it says pink lily on it. I don't know, got me. Fiance made it up for me. I didn't ask for this glass. I was not made
I
for this glass,
sure
but
hope not.
yeah. So thanks, babe.
That's
She said you're welcome.
that's
Shit.
nice. All right, now getting into the Washington Commanders.
Redskins.
That's racist. So currently they have $1.7 million in cap, but then they have the easiest cut known to man itself, Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Don't let the door hit you on the way out, buddy.
So they literally don't lose a friggin' dollar.
They actually make 26.17 million and have zero cap hit.
Yeah. Wait, so why is he still on the team right now? Why didn't they cut him like when
That
the
I don't
season
know.
ended?
I don't know. They
Okay.
should have cut him midseason too, probably.
True.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
that is an easy one.
Yeah.
And then another one that they could cut. This one, it's a little tough, but Logan Thomas. You'd save $5.1 million in cap, and he's been like injured a lot. He is a good tight end when he plays, but
Decent
availability. Yeah, and he's making a decent amount of money right now.
They save a little bit, yeah, but with him and Wentz alone, they go from what was that, 7 million? What did you say?
They had 1.7.
And up to 33.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's huge.
They could also restructure Jonathan Allen and get around $8.6 million. So that if you make all three of those moves, after that, you'd have 41 million in cap space.
True.
That is a good amount of money, and you could fill a lot of holes on a team that, needs some work.
Yeah.
Looking over their roster, it's actually not as bad as I thought. Like they don't have stars per se. They have good, solid pieces all around. There's a couple guys that are going to be free agents that I think that they should re-sign. First of all, being Daron Payne. He had a great year.
Yeah.
One of the better D tackles in the league. That's easy.
Agreed.
He's gonna command
that.
He's gonna get around 20 million per season. So he's getting a lot of money, 100%. But I think that's well deserved, and he's young too. It's not like he's an older guy.
True.
So
their receiver room is actually kind of expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, Curtis, Terry. What do you do there? You just roll with it?
It's tough. I mean, obviously, Terry, you're sticking with. I mean, what you do with Curtis Samuel, I don't know, because he's making a decent amount of money.
Yeah.
You could save about 5.8 mil if you cut him.
But he is like a Debo to San Fran.
Yeah, he is.
They get him right. He's that wild card that can really
Debo
help.
Light. And I mean, he had a pretty good year as far as like he was very versatile.
Yeah.
And I think he's a pretty good weapon. So I mean, I'm fine with keeping him at that.
I would.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was good. He is making a decent amount of money though. But
yeah, he is. But
yeah, they also got like De'Ami Brown, who He had a big game this year. He's solid.
A big game.
Yep. No, it was just one.
All right.
Yeah.
Johan Dotson.
Oh yeah, obviously Jahan Dotson. So like
Yeah.
their receiver room is actually pretty good.
What's his contract? Because
He
he's
was
signed through 2027.
Yeah, because I think he was like the 16th overall pick.
When was De'Ami Brown then?
He was 2 years, 2 or 3
Really?
years ago.
Okay.
But then another guy that they could re-sign is Cole Holcomb. He's a free agent. Cole Holcomb's been pretty good.
He has been pretty good for a few years. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think he's gonna cost too much. I'd say probably around 7 to 8 million. They don't have a market value for him, but that is my personal opinion.
Okay.
Because I mean, he's just been like a solid linebacker. Like he's not a superstar, but you're not going to pay him like a superstar.
Agreed.
He's just a guy that led that defense in many ways. You also have like Jamin Davis, but like they're a pretty good linebacker duo right there.
Yeah, I agree.
And then Wes Schweitzer.
Who?
He's an offensive guard.
That guy.
He's been pretty good for them. Even defensively, they're pretty solid too. Like their safeties are very good. Derek Forrest was I forgot where he was drafted this year, I'm pretty sure, or 2 years ago. He was a late round pick, but he was phenomenal this year.
He stepped in for Cam Curl big time.
Mm-hmm.
And Cam Curl. Cam Curl, when they both of them were there.
And then corners, you could definitely use some help. They got Kendall Fuller. He's also somebody who, I mean, you might.
He's making a lot though, right?
Yeah, you could save 8.5 million by cutting him. He's been solid, but I mean, it depends. If you think you get a better corner for, I mean, that price tag, what is it? He's making $11 million.
Yeah.
You could probably get somebody better for that cost less. Maybe he takes
the other guys.
Who knows? They have Bob McCain. I'm pretty sure he's more like a slot corner.
Old.
He's getting older. You could save a decent amount. He's definitely somebody that could get cut too.
Benjamin St. Juste.
Benjamin St. Juste has actually been pretty solid. He was drafted a few years ago.
Tariq Castro Fields.
Castro Fields was
okay.
He was a rookie this year. He had a solid season.
All right. They definitely need help though. Yeah. Besides Fuller, what do you got?
Exactly. I think that they could be a spot for James Bradbury.
Yeah.
Or even I think the big fish of the cornerback free agent market is Jamel Dean. He's gonna get the biggest contract out of the corners. He's probably gonna make over 16 mil. Rightfully so. He's actually very underrated. Because I mean, Bucks corners, they're gonna lose either Sean Murphy Bunting or Jamel Dean, or maybe both. And yeah, it's gonna be bad for
that team's just gonna be in trouble.
They are. Yeah, I mean, you could go Marcus Peters, who's getting older, but he's a little bit cheaper.
Yep.
Yeah, they definitely need corner help. I'd say that's probably other than like upgrading on the O-line, I think corner help is probably their biggest need. And then obviously the whole quarterback situation. You got Sam Howell right now, who I would roll with, but Taylor Heineke is going to be a free agent. And according to Spot Rack, he could command up to $20 million.
No, I'm not even saying the full. But anyway, no. I like Heineke. I really do. He's their best option as of right now, but I don't know.
I mean, I think rolling with Sam Howell is fine.
At this point, yeah, if you're going to save money like that, if he's going to, need that much.
I think that they could be a good spot for Jimmy G, maybe.
Ooh.
He's not going to be the most expensive option, but he's a veteran who has proven that he could be a solid starter.
I don't know. See, with Jimmy G, it's got me thinking a lot lately because anyone could be a quarterback for San Fran. So is Jimmy G just going to be garbage? At that point, do you just roll with Howell? Maybe going to grow and be better than Jimmy G. Strong possibility because I don't think Jimmy G's special.
I don't think he is either, and he's also probably going to get a decent amount of money
and then get hurt again. So I would just roll with Howell. Honestly,
I think rolling with Howell absolutely just lit up the Cowboys.
Yeah.
What I think is very dumb that they didn't know what they had until like the last week.
Yeah,
that's why you bench Wentz for Heineke. Fine,
and then you went back to him.
And then they went back to Wentz.
Yep.
I don't understand that. We said that during the season too. That was a bad move.
Yeah.
And then now they're in a spot where is Sam Howell their guy? They don't know. They're gonna have to find out.
Yep.
So, I mean, I'm completely fine with them rolling with Sam Howell.
Yeah.
I thought he was a pretty good prospect. He kind of had his flaws coming out, but I think he's solid. But
Yeah,
that does not
I agree.
stop them from being in the market for any of the top QBs.
Agreed. I
If
mean, they don't have too much money. They have 33 as of right now on mine. What do they have on yours?
after all the cuts, they could have up to over 40 million, and they could get
Yeah,
up
they
to
still need a
into the
lot
50,
though.
60 range. But I mean,
Yeah, they still need a lot.
they definitely do, but like they almost made playoffs. If you could somehow get, let's say, Lamar, I don't care,
He's going to the Falcons. I don't care.
maybe, but I mean, I'm fine with rolling with Sam Howell though. And if Taylor
I agree.
Heineke's going to cost that much, absolutely not, 100% no.
I agree.
If he wants like backup quarterback money, sure, because we've seen that he could win games for you.
Yeah,
He's
he's
not
a
your
number two, but he
franchise.
probably for that team he's not going to be paid as a number two. He
Yeah,
won't take that.
that's going to be tough. I don't think he's going to get that much money. I really don't. I don't think there's a team that would be willing to just be complacent and give him that much when you could get. I mean, what other teams like the Buccaneers need a quarterback? I'd rather Kyle Trask at his price tag than Taylor Heineke for $20 million. I don't think he's getting that much.
I know it's tough.
Other guys I think they could target. If they do cut Logan Thomas, Robert Tonyan is a good option for around $5 million. So you'd probably like break even. And I think Tonyan is better than Logan Thomas.
Oh, I think so. 100%.
And younger.
Yeah.
And yeah. Another
But when
guy.
Logan Thomas had a good year, who was the quarterback at that time? Was it like Fitzpatrick back then?
It could have been.
Honestly,
but
he hasn't been good for a long time.
He hasn't had a healthy season too. He's been solid when he plays, but it's just I'm more concerned about the health.
Yeah.
With that much money.
Yeah.
It is not the production itself, even when he is healthy, is probably not living up to the hype there. Or not the hype, the paycheck. Another guy that I think they could target tight end, Hayden Hurst, $7 million. If you want to go all out, get a Dalton Schultz for like 15 mil. That's a lot of money, but
yeah.
Who knows?
Schultz is good too.
Schultz is very good. And I think he's the best.
I guess we'll get into that.
We potentially.
Wait, so with the Commanders, we spoke about safety, corners, linebackers, D-line, O-line, quarterback, receiver, tight end. What are they doing with running back? They have how many guys? Antonio Gibson, J.D. McKissick. You got Brian Robinson.
Well,
who else?
Antonio Gibson is cheap. Brian Robinson is cheap. I know they like J.D. McKissick, and they just re-signed him.
Also cheap, though. But him and Antonio Gibson are signed until 2024.
Yeah. But, I mean, J.D. McKissick, you could free up a little bit of space with...
What is that, $3 million? Yeah.
You could save $1.2 million by releasing him.
Oh, okay. What about Gibson if you release him?
You save $2.7 million with Antonio Gibson. Interesting.
He's 25 years old, but he's not that great. J.D. McKissick 30, so that's a strong possibility. And then maybe just roll with Brian Robinson and sign a number 2.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's fine right now because you're not going to get a guy. Not saying Antonio Gibson's good, but you're not going to get an Antonio Gibson caliber guy for $3 million.
Question. The guy that the Jets just traded for.
James Robinson?
How much is he going to be?
That is very interesting because James Robinson might just suck now.
No, he doesn't suck. I'm pretty sure they just did it because they didn't want to give the better draft pick, honestly.
Maybe James Robinson for one more year, though?
It was one more year. I think that was it.
Interesting. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of fine with them rolling with those 3 guys. I think that's a pretty good rotation. Okay. McKissick was hurt like most of the year anyway. But I mean, we could see Brian Robinson being like the lead guy, Antonio Gibson being a nice change of pace back. Still got some receiving upside.
True. I mean, I get it.
It's not the most expensive running back room in the world either. So
no, but that $4 or $5 million that they can save.
Yeah. If they were tight on cap, I would say yeah. But the fact that they could free up so much space by players that you don't really need, specifically Carson Wentz, I think they'll be fine with just keeping those guys the way they are.
And honestly, if they're going to roll with Howell, then they don't really have to clear up cap.
Yeah, like at all.
If they go for a top guy, then yeah, you got to do what I'm thinking and get rid of all like the little contracts too. But If they're gonna
Yeah.
roll with Howell, which honestly might be a smart idea, you drafted him, see what the kid's got.
Yeah, I agree, definitely. And I don't think they're going to be in a position to draft somebody who's initially going to be better this
True.
year. If they
No, I
could
agree.
maybe sign a vet, but then again, we just got into the whole Jimmy G thing. How
Yeah.
good is he really going to be? Is he just going to set your franchise back? Got to see
Yeah.
what the kid has and how. So
Agreed.
they're not in a terrible spot, just like team wise,
But they are in a
because
terrible spot team wise because you have the Giants, Cowboys, and Eagles that all just made playoffs. So
yeah, but they could have made playoffs too if they weren't dumb.
well, if yeah, I don't, who do you blame for that? Rivera? Like
I
I
really
don't
don't
know.
think Ron Rivera is that good of a coach, honestly. I know he's a big like morale guy, but that's we just brought in Eric Bieniemy,
True.
offensive
That is true.
coordinator, assistant head coach. Who knows?
Yep, that is true. Maybe you can take the best out of Howell. A lot of
So
people are saying he's overrated too, but we'll see. I don't think
yeah,
so. I like the
Sean
enemy.
McCoy absolutely hates Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah, I don't know.
He was always complaining about him
McCoy's got to
because
shut up.
I love him. He could say
I
whatever
hate
he
him.
wants.
Okay, you have to understand. McCoy was on the Eagles and then the Bills, correct?
Correct.
Hate both, so I hate him. But
Okay,
then he was on the
that's
Bucks,
fair.
not too bad.
Yeah,
Right? I don't know where else he was, but he was a good running
he was
back.
on the Bucks. I think it was just Bucks and Chiefs, and he got the two Mickeyest Super Bowl rings of all time.
True, that is true.
It's insane,
But
but
yeah,
he deserved
McCoy.
it. He was.
McCoy could keep his opinion.
I mean, but he's been there. He knows that maybe Eric Bieniemy, the reason he didn't get a head coaching job is because he is just not important to the Chiefs, and I think that is a very strong possibility. He
I
said
guess
that he had nothing to do with any of the passing game because he wasn't a running back coach. If there's any two people to make you look good, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are those two guys.
that is
So
true.
it will be interesting to see how he does.
I bring up crazy eyes Adam Gase. So look at him, Peyton Manning.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Could be the
who
same
knows?
type of situation.
Let's see if Shady's right.
Now getting into the Dallas Cowboys. Currently, they have negative 10.6 million, but there's a couple things that they can do to clear up
Cut
some.
Dak because he sucks.
I mean, there's a real possibility that he's not a Dallas Cowboy in the near future.
I don't think.
I
so.
don't see it. I don't see it at all. But
no, they're gonna roll with Dak.
I think they are. So a couple cuts they can make. Obviously, Zeke is the big one. You could save 10.9 million after if he's a post June 1st cut. So there's a couple ways to look at it. So you could, I think, only clear like 3 mil if you cut him today. But if you designate it as a post June 1st cut, you won't get that money until that time. So if they feel like they need that money right now, then he could just be a guy that they hold on to. And it's also going to be if he takes a pay cut, because there's rumors that he can. So at
He's
one
making
point,
too much right now.
he's making a lot of money. So there's no way that you keep him on that team with that current contract. There's literally, it does not make sense at all.
His contract's done in 2027.
Mm-hmm.
When did he get the contract extension? Last year? 2 years ago?
So I think you got it 2 years ago. You got like a 5-year deal.
Ew.
He got a lot of money. He was good 2 years ago. He just
Agreed,
fell off
but
very hard.
fell off completely, and now he's on the hook for 17 this year coming up. What's next year?
Yeah.
Like, holy crap.
There's 3 options with him.
I'm looking at him right now.
I'm holding up 2, and I said 3. There's 3 options.
17 mil next year. Oh my God. Continue.
Yeah, it's a big contract.
Yeah.
So he gets cut post June 1st.
Needed.
He accepts a restructure and takes a pay cut. Yeah, no, that's it. It's only 2 options. It's either you take less money or you're off the team, pretty much.
Yeah, but like he's not going to take that much less, and they need to do something.
There's a lot
of guys that are just getting too much money.
Yeah, there are. It's the Dallas Cowboys. It's what they do.
Yeah, staying on the offensive side, Gallup is making 14.
He's making a lot of money he was not great last year.
No, I mean they gave him the contract, and then he got hurt. Then they gave him the contract, and it's garbage. But
he is still coming off the injury, though, so you could also say that.
I don't know. I just don't see him as a big thing of that offense. That could be. What do they say if they cut him? Probably not a lot, honestly.
So if they cut Michael Gallup, they actually lose money. So he's a guy that you are stuck with, but you can restructure his contract. That would clear about 7.4 million.
Yeah.
Another guy they could restructure, Tank Lawrence, get around
Mhm.
6.9. Dak, if you restructure, you get about 14.9. So after
Okay.
all of those, you'd have 19 mil in cap space. They're at negative 10.6 before.
And they have Dalton Schultz leaving,
Mhm.
and
He's
he's a big part.
I think he's gone though, because I mean, you look at the guys that they have, like Peyton Hendershot and all these
That is
other. They just have
true.
like
They
random
weren't
tight
that
ends.
bad.
They're all like numbers are in the
Jake
80s. They all
Ferguson,
look the
that guy.
same. Yeah, for
Yep.
Ferguson is good. There's
Mhm.
all of them are like actually solid. So I don't
You do have
think
a
that
point. He does not have to stay. Not thinking about it.
he does not. I don't think they really want him to. I mean, I'm sure they want him to, but for that price tag, absolutely not.
I agree.
Another
Jeez.
guy that I think they can cut. This is it's tough because it's obviously a very good player, but Tyron Smith, you could clear about
Ooh.
$9.5 million in cap by cutting him. But if you do that, you have to re-sign Terrence Steele, who is a free agent. Uh,
And
you
what is he wanting?
Yeah,
What
that's going
should
to
he make?
be probably around 11 million. So you're actually gonna you're not gonna save money on it, but I mean in the long run you will, because Tyron Smith is making 17.6 mil.
Yeah. So the first year doesn't pay off. The second year does.
Yeah, and you're getting a younger player who
Yeah.
is not always hurt. And
True.
I mean, we saw Terrence Steele; he was solid in place, and then you saw Tyler Smith at left tackle, who was also he's been good. So those could be your tackles of the future. They're another team that is always good in the trenches too. But so
Um.
yeah,
So yeah.
if you cut him, then you'd have 28.5 mil in cap space. So there is a couple things that I think they definitely need to do.
Yeah.
Tony Pollard, got to bring him back. If you
Have
franchise
to.
tag him, he's you get 10 mil, is what he's going to cost. It's also tough with a franchise tag. All of that is going to be a cap hit. So, you
Well,
know,
when is he going to be ready though?
I think he'll be ready by the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
It was just a broken bone. It's fine.
Yeah. Just a broken bone.
It's a broken bone.
I that scares me because exactly like with the Michael Gallup thing, you coming off an injury, get a big contract, what's going to happen? You don't
Yeah.
know. So
So
it's
that's why
scary.
it is, but I really don't think that injury was anything to like be too worried about.
I don't think so either.
And I mean,
But
anything's better than
never
Zeke at
know.
this point.
I know that is true. But
Yeah.
I don't know,
So
with Jerry Jones and that crap brain that he has, and giving Zeke the ball still, like maybe they're going to re-sign Zeke and give him a raise. You never know.
yeah, I mean, they could just not value Tony Pollard because
Which
they didn't during the season.
exactly
That was very
they
obvious.
haven't ever.
Yeah.
So
That's tough. I think if I run the Cowboys, I'm bringing him back. I'm signing him to a. I'd probably sign him to a pretty good extension.
can you sign him to like a 1 year prove it deal or no? Just to
He
see
wouldn't
how
do
your
that.
injury is.
You would just franchise tag him at this point.
I
I don't think
guess
he'd
yeah.
ever accept just a 1 year prove it deal, because I mean
That
he's
is
proved
true.
enough. He's going to get a good contract if he goes to
But
another
he
team.
didn't prove coming back from the injury. So
Yeah, but
that's
it's
the
I
tough
mean it's
part.
not like if he tore his Achilles, then yeah, that's something. It's I mean it is funny to say it's just a broken bone, but that's what it is. Like broken
Yeah.
bones, players come back from and are completely fine.
Yeah.
Other than
I
Alex Smith, that's a different story. But
that was disgusting. But
yeah,
anyway. No, I think franchise tag. If I'm GM, franchise tag 100%.
yeah,
Who else are you going to give a franchise tag to on this team?
you could tag Dalton Schultz again. I'm sure he wouldn't be too happy about
Like you
that.
said with Ferguson and those guys, you don't have to. That team's just fine. Dak likes throwing interceptions to anyone, and no matter what tight end you have out there, he's going to throw an interception. So
That is true.
yeah,
That is true. Yeah, and they got other free agents like Noah Brown. I think they should bring back Leighton Vander Esch. He was on a very, very cheap 1 year deal, and he was much better than he played. It might have been his best year as a pro, honestly. He was pretty good in
contract
that
year they
system.
usually do that.
That is true. But I don't think he's going to cost a lot. He'll probably cost like 5-6 million
Yeah,
for like
I'm
a
hoping they
deep.
don't sign him. I hope the Jets get him.
I thought they were going to get him last year,
Yeah.
and then he went back on that little baby contract.
Yep. It
That's
happens a lot.
yeah. I mean,
Like
it
Juju
was
going back to the Steelers for a year.
yeah,
He had to pay the Steelers to pay for them at that point.
yeah,
Um,
pretty much how it was. Yeah, there's a couple other guys that they could look for in free agency. I think that one of their biggest needs is a corner opposite Trayvon Diggs. I
Who
like
do they have
guys
right
like
now? I don't even know.
They
Jordan
had like
Lewis,
Jordan Lewis was there.
Kelvin Joseph. How's he? I thought he was
He was
decent.
terrible. There was this
Is
one
he
game
really?
that Kelvin Joseph like actually was just getting burnt left and right. Like he was just getting absolutely flamed. It was
Jeez.
terrible. Um, Deron
Israel
Bland,
Mukuamu. I heard that
yeah,
name before.
yeah.
Garbage.
There's one guy I don't know. I don't remember who it was, but he was playing very good at the end of the year.
Okay. Isaac Taylor Stewart. Who knows? But yeah, no,
Deron
I agree.
Bland is also good. I think he's more of like a slot guy though.
They do need number two.
Mhm.
So
And I think that if you want to go the crazy expensive route, you could get a James Bradbury, you could get a Jamel Dean. What I think is more likely is like a Cam Sutton, Pat Pete, even like Jonathan Jones. He's going to get probably north of 10, but he's pretty solid. But I mean, you're looking for a number 2 corner. You don't need to spend
you
too
got
much
Emmanuel
money.
Mosley out there. You got a bunch of guys, honestly.
Yeah, there's some
Rocky
solid.
Sin is nothing special, but I mean,
Yeah, I mean, you're just looking for a number 2.
yeah,
You got Trayvon Diggs as that guy
yeah.
as your one. I mean, you got some pretty good safeties. They got Jaron Curse and Sheldrick Redwine, who was not too good,
No,
but Malik Hooker has been pretty solid for them.
yeah. So safeties are good. Corner, they need another one. Linebackers, they're solid.
Well, I still think they need to get Leighton Vander Esch back. Definitely.
Yes, Van Der Esch, but then you got Parsons already.
Yeah, but he's more of a guy that like they've been rushing him a lot more, and I think they should. I think that he should be a full-time edge rusher. And then
yeah.
I don't. He's very good in coverage. He's just a very, very good linebacker.
Yeah,
you're just player in general. But
I agree.
Yeah.
After linebacker, you got D line, which I don't even know.
I mean, you still got DeMarcus Lawrence. I'd still consider Micah Parsons a DN pretty much.
I guess.
You got like Osa Digazua is pretty solid D tackle. You could part ways with Neville Gallimore, maybe. I don't know if that even saves you money. It actually saves him $2.7 million. I'm completely fine with that. He is nothing special.
Not a lot though.
Yeah,
they
Dorrance Armstrong.
I feel like.
Yeah, no, they could definitely use somebody else on the D line.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that they could. There's a lot of rumors about it during the trade deadline, but Brandon Cooks. They want another receiver. They do not believe in Michael Gallup,
but you can't do anything with him. That's the problem.
Exactly. You just have to restructure, and then, I mean, even if you restructure, that might be just screwing you more down the road because you're not going to be able to really cut him next year. So.
You got to suck it up, I guess. I don't know.
That's another thing that, like, when that happened, it was just like, why did you do that? You lost Amari Cooper, and then you gave Michael Gallup that much money. And, I mean, why?
So dumb.
Yeah. And they're going to have to worry about a CeeDee Lamb extension in the near future.
Yeah. He's so young, but he's so great.
He's going to get a lot of money. And, I mean, Micah Parsons extension in the future, Trayvon Diggs. There's a lot of guys that they're going to need to figure out soon.
Diggs' contract is up in 24.
He could be. I mean, they could sign an extension for him this year.
Lamb after that, and then Parsons after that. So they got some big money going out.
Mm-hmm. Which is not the worst problem to have.
Not at all.
Mm-hmm. But they also got Jalen Tolbert last year. Didn't really see a lot of him, but he's solid.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I know they want Brandon Cooks, though. So that's why I think that is a very real possibility. They could even get Odell. Who knows?
Yeah. I would stay away.
Personally,
I think Odell is done. But anyway. They're again, Cowboys are always good. Like it just they just can never get it done.
It's always their year.
It really is.
Always. They're just never gonna do it.
They're not. Definitely not. I think the big thing is, Dak, that $49 million, he doesn't deserve that.
It's a large contract.
You got your 2 linemen. You gotta do something. And then Zeke.
Yeah.
Cut him.
I think Zeke is just an easy. You got to get rid of him.
Yeah,
I really don't even. I don't think that there's a dollar amount that I'd just like be happy with him there.
Yeah, no, he's just been terrible.
I mean, if he's like, all right, I'm making 17 mil, I'll take a $15 million pay cut. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. I do personally believe that he could be like a somewhat good like short yardage, just straight number 2 power back. But I'm not paying
for that money though.
Not for that. I'm not paying more than $5 million for Zeke.
Yeah,
maybe $5 million is too much. So, I agree with you. we'll see. Hopefully, we get some news on that soon
I
because
know. That'll be fun.
yeah, I think they said that they're going during the combine. They're going to see like what he's worth, and then try to negotiate through that. But I mean, if they're going to expect to like go to teams and be like, "Hey, what would you pay for Zeke?" They are going to just get their faces spat in all day.
Well,
Nobody wants him.
there's an update. The scouts think that Zeke has little left. His market value is seen as very low.
Exactly.
As
That's why
speculation of his release from the Cowboys
I
swirls.
100% agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen running backs kind of just like fall off a cliff at
Gurley is like the most recent one, I feel
yeah.
like. Just
That was
top
more so
dog
like
and then just
injuries. But I mean,
yeah.
Zeke's had some like knee problems
Yeah.
recently, the past few years.
Even like Melvin Gordon. Ever
Melvin
since he
Gordon's
left the
another good one.
Chargers, he was just I don't know what the hell happened.
Yep. Hey, that's Super Bowl champion Melvin Gordon to
That
you.
is true. That is true. He did so much for that Super Bowl. Oh man.
Yeah, he deserved it, man. He really did.
Yep. Very true.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for the Cowboys.
Yep.
And the last team in the NFC East, the New York Football Giants.
Yep.
So they are not in a bad spot at all right now.
They're really not.
They have about $41 million in cap space currently. I think that like Joe Shane, I think is an absolutely phenomenal GM, and we've seen that already. That he's made some good moves, and yeah, there's a couple things that they could do to clear some more space. Most obvious one being Kenny Galladay.
See you later, you bum.
He's
Should have
terrible.
never left Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
He was so good on that team.
Yeah, but he got a disgustingly fat contract, which that was an overpay to begin with.
Oh yeah, off the bat, everyone knew that.
Yeah, he's a you could save 13.5 mil as a post June 1st cut with cutting him.
Need to.
That's
100%.
a lot of money. Yeah. That's a very very easy decision.
Yeah.
Now some hard decisions. Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley. What's the line of we definitely want him, but is that too much? Because I mean, Daniel Jones is not that great. He threw 15 touchdown passes. Obviously, he was good on the ground and everything, but how much of that was Brian Dable's system compared to Daniel Jones as a good quarterback?
100% agree. How much would it be for Daniel Jones to get franchise tagged? Because that's huge. I think Daniel Jones is a fake. I think Dable is a genius. And again, like San Fran, you can put a bunch of quarterbacks there and they'll get the job done.
So if they franchise tag him, that'll be 32.4 million.
Better than the 40 something that they're talking about.
Yes. But the thing with that is, like I said before, that's a cap hit, 32 million. Yeah. Instead of I think Daniel Jones is an idiot if he's really asking for that much, because I don't think he's worth 35. I don't think he's really worth 30 million, really.
I don't think
so. If he's asking for that much and he's going to screw around and not even get a contract, then.
But I think the Giants organization's dumb. I think they want him back for big money.
I don't think so. I don't think Joe Shane. I don't think Joe Shane is doing that. Joe Shane is a great GM.
Maybe, but the media and fans think so.
I mean, it's New York media. You're gonna.
Yeah, the worst. Sucks.
I mean, the same could be said for Saquon. I think that Saquon is a phenomenal player. He is easily a top 5 back in the league.
Yep.
How much are you going to, when healthy? That's the big thing. Is he worth, I think he wants $15 million.
Yeah.
History says don't pay running backs, especially ones that get hurt often.
How old is he now?
25, 26.
Oh, he's got a while. See, my thing with Saquon, that first injury that he had 2 years ago, that was, rough. Last year, not this year that just happened, the year before, it was like a weird ankle roll. It was just messed up, and then he never recovered.
It was like the ankle roll, and then he did something else too. It was just something that was like on top of each other.
Yeah, and see, last year's injuries, I don't really count. I don't think that was really like on him. It was just unlucky. But I think he's healed up. I think he's ready to go, and I would give him money because he is the offense. He can do everything, and he does everything always.
Mm-hmm. But it's just the question of what is the cutoff of he's too much money now, or we're willing to re-sign him.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what other running backs are really getting right now, but
I mean, if you look at Zeke, He's making.
Ew.
I mean, that's a different story. But I
Yeah,
mean,
that's totally
a
different.
good comparison is Christian McCaffrey's contract. I don't
And
think that he should
what is he
get
getting?
McCaffrey money per se, but it's tough because that's another guy who is. I mean, he's been injured, but
Yeah.
he's a a phenomenal talent.
What is McCaffrey getting a year?
He's making around 16.
Oh God, I think I saw Saquon wanted 12.5 or something. Is that correct, or am I making that up?
I know what you're talking about. I think it said that Saquon wants 15,
Oh,
but
was it 15?
yeah, I think it was 15, but there was something about 12.5. That might have been like what
New
they
York
think the
Reporter offer
Giants
came in at 12 million a season.
that was the Giants' offer to him
Mm-hmm.
initially, as reported. We don't know how.
Yeah,
I mean, these reports could just be some guy just coming up with things, and
that
sometimes
is
they
true.
are.
Yeah, usually.
But
But yeah, no. So I mean, if he wants more than that, I don't know. I mean, they
yeah,
have the cap space.
they
Bring back
do.
your main guys.
If you could sign, these are my numbers. If Daniel Jones wants $45 million, goodbye. Go
Yep.
go ruin another team.
Yep.
If he wants, I think my cutoff for him is 30 million,
I was going to
and
say the same thing. 30.
even that
Done.
is pushing it.
Yep.
It's just like that's just like a quarterbacks are making a lot of money thing, and you're gonna have to pay him.
Yeah.
But anything more than that, I don't
Agreed.
know.
I tell
I
you what,
feel like
another guy though making 32 million a year, Leonard Williams. What do you do
interesting.
with that?
Yeah, he's making a lot of money. I mean, you do save $12 million if you cut him.
You can't cut him, so you have to try to restructure. But what does that even come out to?
You
If you
can't even
can,
you can't even restructure because his I mean, you can restructure, but you're not going to really save that much because I mean his contract expires after the season.
actually, yeah, that's true.
So
So maybe give him an extension and work something out. But
maybe extend
that
him.
32 million is disgusting
It is a
for a
very
D lineman.
large
And
he's
how
very
is
large
he?
cap hit.
He's not even a top D lineman.
He's not. I mean, he is good. He's
He's
very good.
Yes.
But he is like he's not a guy that's gonna like be a stat pad or a stat sheet
Yeah.
stuffer. But I mean,
Agreed.
I think that he's definitely a good player. I don't think that you part
Not
ways
for
with
that
him.
money.
It's
Agreed.
tough.
I don't think you part ways. I think you have to extend them somehow. I mean, he's 29 right now, so that's tough.
Yeah.
But 32 is just not okay.
If they were tight on cap, then I would say they'd have to figure something out. But
I
I mean,
guess.
just cutting Galladay alone, there's other moves that they can make, but just cutting Galladay alone, you're over 50 million in cap space.
Yeah.
So, and they're going to have to extend Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence is one of the best D tackles in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Dory Jackson,
He's
you
making
could,
19.
yeah. I mean, he's a guy that you could extend really if you wanted to. I wouldn't hate that. But I mean, what is he? 28.
28, yeah.
You're gonna have to give Xavier McKinney an extension soon, and then you got some free agents who I think that you could bring back. Julian
What do you
Love,
got?
could probably make around $8 million.
Okay.
John Feliciano, he was their starting center this year. He was a Bills guy
He's
that
so old now, isn't he?
he's like 32, 33, but he's like a
Oh,
solid
okay.
center.
Okay.
He's versatile. He played guard for the Bills for like 2 years.
He's
But I mean,
also an
if
asshole.
why?
He's just a bad person.
No, he's not.
Luciano?
Yeah.
Oh, am I thinking the wrong guy? Hold on. Who am I thinking of?
Are you thinking about the dude that like tried to cut his dad's head off?
I don't know. What's his name?
Um,
I thought it was Feliciano.
no, Feliciano's fine.
He was on the Bills. He went to the Raiders.
Richie Incognito.
Yeah, it might be that guy. Yeah.
You're
Okay.
thinking of
So
Richie Incognito. Yeah.
yeah.
Richie Incognito is
That's
not in the
it.
league anymore. Yes.
Hey, don't
So
forget Tito's. Tito's in a pink cup.
that's true. That's true.
Okay,
It's
continue
getting to you.
Feliciano, yeah, though. Okay.
Yeah, $3 to $4 million probably. That's fine.
Yeah.
Interesting. Darius Slayton probably get around 3 to 4 million. It's
All right. I mean, he's okay.
I don't think you need him. You definitely need a receiver, 100%. And I think that they could target guys like T. Higgins or maybe even go and get a D Hop. I would prefer the T route for them. But
well, you said who for the Giants?
Darius Slayton.
Sterling Shepard's also a free agent, no?
Well, he's already off the team. I'm pretty sure they already like cut him.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So he's another guy
Okay.
you could bring back. I think he's going to be too expensive, and he's coming
Yeah.
off a big injury. I know that he is a part of this is tough also because part of this is just like these are big locker room guys. Like Daniel Jones is your quarterback
Yeah.
that you just made the playoffs with. Saquon Barkley is like one of the leaders of that team. The
Yeah.
same with Sterling Shepard.
Yeah.
You're probably going to have to give them more money than maybe what they're worth just because of who they are as like a person.
Yeah.
So I don't
If you
know.
had to take a guess, how old is Sterling Shepard?
29 or 30.
30. I can't believe that.
He's old. I know.
I can't believe he's that old. That's crazy.
I know. That's one of the guys in the league that you're like, he's really that old?
Yeah. So for the Giants, getting like a DJ Chark and Alan Lazard, Jacoby Myers, Juju, like, those are good options.
I think Jacoby is a very, very good receiver. And he's probably going to make like 12 to 13 mil.
You don't think he's going back to New England?
I just don't see the Patriots like paying people.
Yeah, here you.
They just like don't really do that unless it's a tight end. I think that they should. I think Jacoby Myers is definitely worth that money,
especially if you're keeping Mac Jones. But I don't know. There's talk about Mr. Zappy,
Bailey Zappi, not being substantially worse or even being worse.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a few episodes, right?
Yes, we will. But
yeah. So what do the Giants do?
Well, there's a couple free agents that I think they could get. One, if this man hits the free agent market, I think you throw all of your money at him. Tremaine Edmonds. Obviously, there's a connection there because Brian Dable, obviously, he didn't really have much to do with Tremaine Edmonds, but Joe Shane he was there when he was picked. He was with them for 4 years. They need linebacker help very badly. And I personally think that the Bills should keep Tremaine Edmonds. And I personally think that if Tremaine Edmonds hits free agency, he could become like a top 3 paid linebacker in the league. Just because he's what, 24?
Yeah,
he's a
young.
physical freak. And he's just gotten better. Yeah. And I think that a team could realistically, I guess I'm being a little biased. I think Tremaine Edmonds could be the best linebacker in the league in a different scheme.
That's crazy. Even in the best scheme, like no. Edmonds is good. He's young, but he's never going to be that stud in my opinion.
Why can't he be? He's 24 years old and he is a physical freak of nature. Why can't he be that guy?
Him or Devin Bush?
Tremaine Edmonds by a mile. Devin Bush sucks.
Yeah.
Devin Bush was terrible. They declined his 5th-year option and everything. He's really not good, Devin Bush.
Yeah, I don't know.
Coming out of college, Devin Bush was definitely
the same age. That's why I asked.
Yeah, but, Devin Bush is only going to get like $3 million to $4 million on the market.
Yeah.
Tremaine, I could see they have his market value as like 11 mil. I think that he could go right up with like what Roquan is getting, probably a little bit less because he hasn't really proven what Roquan has done. But a team is going to overpay for him 100%.
Maybe because of his age and stuff like that. His
age, if you really think that he could be that dude, which I think he can, he's kind of not that he's playing out of position, but he would be better in like as a. I don't know. Right now he's a 4-3, just like really not really a 4-3 because they always run nickel, but he's a straight middle linebacker. I think that as an outside linebacker and maybe even like get him off the edge sometimes, I think he would be absolutely phenomenal.
You really don't think the Bills are going to bring him back?
I think they should. I don't know because somebody just asked him the other day and they said, "Do you want to be back with the Bills or do you want to see like how free agency goes?" And he said he wants pretty much he said he wanted to test free agency.
Wow.
And we'll talk about them in another episode, but they have free agents like Jordan Poyer. They don't have a lot of money. So it's going to be very tough. I personally would be very upset I think they're going to bring him back though, because Bean is always like a draft, develop, resign. That's like his main thing. So I don't see it like a guy that is a good draft pick, young, a leader on your team. I don't see how you let him go. But let's just say he does. Giants should absolutely go after him.
Yeah. I mean, there's other guys, though, like Deion Jones, Levante David. They're older, but.
They're older. I mean, we were just talking about TJ Edwards. That's also a very good option.
Perryman's very good, too. Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, I'd say
Who
you
knows?
still want to go for a younger guy like Tremaine or TJ Edwards.
Yeah,
And I think Levante David's probably going back to the Bucks anyway.
probably, but who knows?
Yeah. So they definitely need linebacker help regardless of who it is.
Yeah.
Obviously they need a receiver. Like we said, Jacoby Myers. You could maybe try to trade for D-Hop, T. Higgins.
Sure.
Cornerback, also a pretty big need. You got a Dory Jackson, and then you got
Darnay Holmes.
Darnay Holmes is a slot
Aaron
corner.
Robinson.
Cordell Flott, slot corner. Aaron Robinson.
I never heard of that name before.
Yeah, Cordell Flott. Flott the slot. Pretty much they have 3 slot corners. Like
Jason
Darnay
Pinnock,
Holmes.
he was on the Jets. He was garbage.
Yeah, he's terrible.
Nick McLeod. Who the hell?
Nick McLeod was on the Bills. He's just a versatile defensive back. He's not an outside.
They need
boundary.
A corner big time.
They need a boundary corner, 100%.
Yeah.
And I mean, Bradbury said he was open to a reunion. I think that he's going to be a little bit too expensive for what they need.
But they have the cap space. They can.
Yeah, but
if they're smart with Daniel Jones, they have the cap space.
They can make a lot of good moves.
Yeah, they really can. So they're in a good boat. They really are.
They are.
I really think Daniel Jones is the wrong guy.
I'm completely okay with him being the quarterback of the future. I'm not going to say give him a 6-year extension. That's the main thing is the money.
Yeah.
And it's going to be very interesting to see. I think they could also, you could maybe upgrade tight end. Daniel Bellinger is actually pretty good, but you could maybe upgrade there. I still think they definitely need to build up the O-line.
Yeah.
A guy like Isaac Samalu would definitely be good. Their tackles are fine for now. We don't really know how Evan Neal is going to be because he was not good this year.
True.
But Andrew Thomas is very, very good, even though he had a slow start to his career.
Yeah. I did like him coming out of the draft, though. I wanted him as well.
Tristan Wirfs is my main guy coming out of the draft.
Yeah. Wirfs and the other W.
Jedrick Wills. Those were my 1 and 2.
Exactly.
And then it was Andrew Thomas. I actually might have liked Mekhi Becton. No,
Becton was 4. I remember we both had him at 4.
It was those top 3 guys.
That bastard. Yeah.
Yeah. That big man that is just we'll talk about him another day.
He lost a lot of weight. But anyway, we'll get into it.
Oh, it's the New York Jets offseason.
He lost a lot of weight.
New York Jets offseason. We're getting Lamar Jackson. We're getting Aaron Rodgers. Derek Carr literally just signed. I saw him in 7-Eleven in New York. And the classic of Mekhi Becton he lost weight. He's in the best shape of his life.
He's still gonna get hurt week 1.
Probably. And he's still probably fat.
Yeah, no, I agree. One thing that with the Giants, bringing Saquon back is huge in my opinion. But who's your number 2? I think they need to get a number 2.
I'm pretty sure Matt Breida is a free agent.
A guy like Rashad Penny or something. He's gonna want money, but nothing crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Even like a Mostert.
Yeah,
need something back there.
I mean, you could also this is a pretty good running back class.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, there's pretty good depth there, and Antonio Williams actually looked pretty good for them. Another Buffalo Bills guy that they stole.
Okay. Got me.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. They're not in a terrible spot either, just because they do have a lot of money, but they got some big things to figure out, specifically Daniel Jones and Saquon.
Yeah, and seeing if you can do something with Leonard Williams' contract.
Mm.
I think the Giants are in a very good spot compared to the rest of the division. I know the Eagles just got there, and Cowboys, always going to win, but they don't. I think the Giants are in a good spot.
Yeah,
because cap space, they have pieces. For the most
I agree.
part.
I mean, if Sam Howell pans out, then the Commanders are in the best spot, just because they have a lot of money.
It's always about quarterback if they pan out or not.
That's what it is, and I mean, obviously the Eagles would be in the best spot if that's the case, but they're just losing so many key guys, and are going to have to. There's a lot of unproven players that are going to have to step up next year.
Yeah.
Well, that concludes this week's episode. We're going to go through the rest of the NFC. We got a couple other videos planned. Free agency, the NFL Combine's coming up.
Yep.
So should be
big stuff.
Yeah, should be a lot of videos coming out. So
if you have any ideas, send them our way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Twitter, Instagram, whatever.
Yeah, if you're not following us on Twitter and Instagram, I don't know what you're doing. You're missing out so much.
Yep.
We have fantastic posts all the time.
Yeah, fantastic.
They're very, very good. Yeah.
So
But yeah,
yeah.
that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Till next time.